How's this for an undercover clever disguise that Hashem has been nice enough to let me hide behind? I'm delighted. I'd like to talk to you today, first of all, a little bit about me. Because you probably know me as Doreen Dotan, the Super Jew, which is true. There's another side of me that isn't seen as much, and I want to talk about that side today. My paternal grandparents and my then 6-year-old father arrived in the U.S. from County Sligo, and I am sure that my father was terrified out of his wits, having to go across the ocean on a shanty ship and arrive in America and try to make a new life. My father wasn't a practicing Catholic, but his parents were, and he was raised as a Catholic, and he was damaged as a Catholic. And as a result of that, he could not function as a father. And so my mother and father divorced when I was 11 months old, simply because my father could not be a father. That is probably one of the greatest gifts that Hashem has ever given me, because that gave me the privilege of being able to look deeply into the church and asking myself, what is going on here? And I've learned much over the years. I've heard other people's stories and things that made me understand why my father was the way he was. This generation has the singular power of being able to publicly not only criticize but even condemn the Pope without being dragged before the Inquisition. We may even have the power to be able to prosecute the Pope. We may be able to do that. And many of you, I'm sure, want that. But I'm going to ask you to take the high road. Because if we have the power to condemn, we also have the power to fix. And this is the first generation that has been able to look at the Pope as human. We can see that he's human just like us. There may be only one Pope in the world, but long before he became a Pope, who named himself after Francis of Assisi, and let's be honest, also Francesco Borgia, there was a little choir boy or altar boy by the name of Jorge, and it is almost certain that he suffered the same pain at the hands of the priests and then the bishops and then the cardinals that the rest of us had, and likely much, much more. And so I'm not going to ask you to give the Pope total dispensation. I'm not going to ask you to do that. I think that people who have done wrong should take the responsibility for it. We cannot give them dispensation, you're off scot-free, go. But if we can feel compassion for those stronger than we, that's as close to God as you can get. It's very easy to have compassion for those that we look down upon, those poorer than ourselves, those weaker than ourselves, those are more feeble and infirm than ourselves. But to have compassion for those more powerful than ourselves, richer than ourselves, more educated than ourselves, more able than ourselves, this is God. I have told you before that the word for compassion in Hebrew is rachamim, and that it is the same word as rechamim, which means wombs. And it is only in some kind of a womb that a person can be broken down to their basic life components and rebuilt to something better, have their entire destiny changed. And we can do that. So I'm asking you, please, for the sake of your healing and for the sake of the healing of the creation, to please try to look at the man who is today Pope Francis as little Jorge, who is being abused by people in the church, who were also abused by people in the church, who were also abused by the people of the church. And just to see him as you, and to give him that one little eye of an opening to be able to come forth and tell us the truth. If we give him that little opening, he can open up many, many gates of truth for us. Please find that little place in your hearts. Thank you for listening.